as night falls on Ukraine. The sound of air raid sirens yet again. Tomorrow will be a 6th day of Russia's invasion. Our Charlie Daggett is there.
2 huge explosions behind me, the closest that we've heard since. Now, I don't know if they were huge because they were close or huge because they were big explosions. And after that, there were several rounds of small arms fire. It could be anti-aircraft fire, may have even been outgoing.
The first round of Ukraine-Russia talks aimed at ending the fighting concluded with no immediate agreements. It comes as the United Nations is holding an emergency meeting over the war, and we have just learned that the U.S. is expelling 12 of its Russian UN diplomats. CBS's Christopher Cruz.
General Assembly President Abdullah Shahid of the Maldives opened the session with a call for peace.
Let us ignite the fire of love, humanity, compassion, and hope.
The General Assembly is debating as delegations from Ukraine and Russia met at the border with Belarus.
The UN estimates more than 500,000 people have already fled to safety and out of Ukraine. CBS's Riley Carlson is at the foreign desk in London.
Those who've made it out are hearing it's getting more difficult to leave, and they worry about those staying behind.
Because they live with their father.
They'll try to stay in touch and hope the war ends soon.
The UK is advising against all travel to Russia. And as correspondent Cammie McCormick reports, the U.S. is urging Americans to leave the region.
The U.S. suspended operations at the embassy in Minsk and is now urging Americans to leave Belarus immediately. Americans have also been urged to leave Russia, though commercial flights there are becoming less available. Russia has banned airlines from 36 countries. Americans are also being urged to leave Moldova.
Seeing a doctor could now be this easy.
Alexa, I want to talk to a doctor.
During the height of the pandemic, when no one was leaving their homes, telemedicine appointments surged. Now with doctors' offices open again, many people still like the ease of talking to a doctor from the comfort of their homes. Amazon has partnered with telemed company Teladoc and will now connect you with a healthcare provider through your Echo device. The service is only for non-emergency visits, but a perfect option for you or your kids dealing with things like allergies or the flu. As for the cost, depends on your insurance. If you don't have insurance, a visit is $75. Stacey Lynn, CBS News.
Estee Lauder says it's fired senior executive John Dempsey after he posted something on Instagram that was offensive. He has since taken down the post that led to his firing, which was reportedly a meme that included a racial slur. He says he's terribly sorry. The Dow is down 450. This is CBS News.
This hour's newscast is presented by Rocket Mortgage. When you need cash out of your home and a simple way to get it, Rocket can. This is KNX News 97.1 FM, Southern California's only 24-hour local news and traffic station. Good afternoon. I'm Chris Seatons. Let's get to our top local story now at 12:03. It's now official. The requirement for masks to be worn indoors in all California school campuses will soon be history. Governor Newsom says March 11th will be the final day of the state school mask mandate, although health officials are still recommending that masks continue to be worn inside classrooms after that. The governor says the decision is based on the latest data and science regarding COVID-19, but local officials will still have the option to keep imposing their own stricter mask rules. The LA Times says for now, the LAUSD seems bound by an agreement with the teachers union to require indoor masking on campuses at least through the end of the current school year. There's mixed reaction to the state's decision to end the school mask mandate soon. Some parents and medical experts think it's the right move, but others say it should be kept in place longer.
Dr. George Rutherford is a professor of epidemiology at UC San Francisco. He believes it's too early to pull off the face masks.
The downside of this is that you get outbreaks in schools. They have to close. You have to close whole classrooms, especially for younger kids. And the parents are stuck at home for 10 days or however long it takes, and it's just disruptive.
He also believes local officials will really need to make the decisions because vaccination rates and transmission rates vary across the regions and across grade levels. John Baird, KNX News 97.1 FM.
Well, the effort to recall L.A. County's polarizing district attorney, George Gascon,
looks to become an issue in the city's mayoral campaign. We'll tell you more about that right after traffic in 2 minutes. Let's get to your noon hour drive now. This Monday lunch hour, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the fives. Here's Tom Tran.
All right, we've got a couple of sig alerts for you to look out for. Latest one, westbound side of the 60 at Hacienda Boulevard. The southbound Hacienda on-ramp to the west 60 going to closed until further notice because of a traffic accident. Now, the west 60 isn't quite affected yet, but you just can't get there from Hacienda Boulevard. The other sig alert, westbound side of the 91. This is just before Lakeview Avenue. It's right between Imperial Highway and Lakeview Avenue, as a matter of fact. The number 2 lane was reopened. However, it is a solid backup, and there were 2 accidents behind it. So the slowing starts just after the 241. And you have a few options. You can exit off at Weir Canyon, or even before you get to the mess, exit off that 91 at Santa Ana River Trail, and then take it over towards La Palma Avenue. Either case, take La Palma or Santa Ana Canyon Road going westbound. If you have to get back on the 91, do it at Lakeview. Over on the South 605, we had a crash just before Valley. That is causing delays on both sides of the 605 now. Southbound side busy from Ramona. The northbound side slows back at the 60. Your next report, 12:15. With more reports more often from the CarsonToyota.com 24-hour traffic center. KNX News 97.1 FM.
Nice day to be outside during your lunch hour. Take KNX along with you. Sunshine, a little windy, warm. When I say a little windy, we do have a wind advisory up. It's with us till 3 o'clock. 20 to 30 miles per hour. The winds could see gusts in some valley areas hitting 45 miles per hour. Highs today, lower 80s at the coast, mid 80s for inland and valley areas. Clear tonight, 40s and 50s for your overnight lows, and then sunny 70s and 80s, your forecast highs for tomorrow, for your Tuesdays. Right now, it's warm out there. Flying in or out of LAX at the airport, mostly sunny, 82 degrees. Along the coast, it's 79 in Long Beach, 84 right now. Sunny in Burbank at 12:07. Real estate developer and mayoral candidate Rick Caruso coming out in favor of the effort to recall Los Angeles County District Attorney George Gascon. In a video posted to Twitter, he says Gascon's prosecution policies have made Los Angeles less safe. Caruso says he plans to do more than just back the recall campaign with his words.
I've also decided to support the recall effort financially to help them get the signatures they need to put this decision on the ballot so the great people of Los Angeles can make a decision on the direction they want this city to go.
Gascon's critics say he's simply too soft on crime, but they'll need to gather almost 570,000 valid signatures by July 6th to put a recall measure on the November ballot. 2 Los Angeles men have been sentenced to federal prison time for a ransom scheme that targeted people trying to enter the United States from Mexico. One was sentenced to 6.5 years, the other to 2 years behind bars. Prosecutors say the men would position themselves at the U.S. border checkpoints and kidnap people who crossed the border. They then would demand and collect ransom payments from their relatives. A 48-year-old Palmdale woman has been killed in a head-on crash in the northeastern portion of Antelope Valley when for some reason she drove her motorcycle across the yellow center lines on State Route 18, slammed into an oncoming car. A man who was riding on the motorcycle with her suffered major injuries. 2 women in the car that she hit were treated at the scene and released. It's not clear yet whether alcohol or drugs played a role in the crash. It's 12:08. A new survey released this morning paints a bleak picture of how the pandemic is affecting the job market for African Americans in Southern California. This study by UCLA Center for the Advancement of Racial Equity at Work shows that 70% of black workers who lost employment during the pandemic were still looking for a job more than a year later. And 60% reported a 2020 personal income of under $50,000. Deja Thompson is the study's co-author.
A third of the workers, when we asked, how confident are you in your ability to afford food within the month from surveying, and a third of them reported that they weren't confident that they would be able to really cover that expense in addition to housing and everything else.
About a third of black workers also reported prejudice or discrimination at work during the pandemic. It's 12:09. Police now searching for clues after a man was shot in front of a San Pedro house last night. This happened on West 2nd Street. Authorities say 5 people walked up to the victim, shot him several times. The man was rushed to a hospital where his vital signs are said to be stable. Suspect drove away. Police have not yet released a description of their car. A man who became a hero during the horrific mass shooting at the Borderline Bar and Grill in Thousand Oaks more than 3 years ago has been killed in a road crash. Matt Wennerstrom died when his motorcycle collided with a car this weekend. Happened in Newbury Park. He was credited with saving several lives back in 2018 when a gunman entered the Borderline Bar and Grill, opened fire in an attack that killed a dozen other people. Well, the FM dial is your home for your favorite music, everything from pop to country, rock to rap. Now FM radio is also your home for breaking local news and around-the-clock traffic updates that get you to and from work, wherever you're going, safe and sound and on time. KNX News, we're now at 97.1 FM. Yes, we've still got our legendary spot on the AM dial at 1070, yes, but we're now asking you to give our new FM signal a try. Set a button for local news today. Remember, we're now KNX News 97.1 FM. Freeway check coming up, lunch hour traffic. Another look at that SIG alert affecting your drive right now. This is on the westbound 91 through Anaheim Hills. Tom has much more on that. He's standing by in the traffic center. Also in the news today, a judge issuing a ruling in the case of that Long Beach restaurant owner facing numerous charges for refusing to close when COVID was at its worst. Much more on that. We've got your traffic, your weather, and much more news, all coming up in less than 4 minutes. Stay with us. It is 12:11.
At Mount St. Mary's University, we've designed our programs for busy adults, for full-time job adults, for single-parent adults, for balancing taking care of your whole family adults. Ready to get started? Take classes on the weekends, in the evenings, or online, whatever fits your schedule. Plus, earn credit for work experience that you already have. Start now and get your first class for free. Visit msmu.edu/radio or text radio to 58052 to earn your degree your way.
Small businesses who switch to Spectrum Business can cut their internet and phone bill in half.
Spectrum Business can cut my bill in half? Really?
It's true. You're overpaying and we can prove it. Grab your bill and visit spectrum.com/business calculator. In just 3 easy steps, you'll see your savings.
Wow, I can save over $1,500 a year.
That's real savings. See for yourself. Visit spectrum.com/business calculator and make the switch today. Restrictions apply.
Here's today's smart money tip from Owning. Call 833-2-OWNING or go to owning.com to find out more about this amazing offer.
The average 30-year mortgage stays on the lender's books around 8 years before it's paid off. So why do people take a 30-year loan rather than a 10 or 15? Lower monthly payments, of course. However, those lower payments come with a much higher interest rate. What if you can have the low interest rate of a 10-year loan with the low payment of a 30-year? Sounds smart, right? Introducing the Smart Money Loan from Owning with a 2.375% rate, 2.819 APR, fixed for the first 10 years. You can lower your rate and payment and save thousands in interest.
Call 833-2-OWNING to log in a 2.375% rate, 2.819 APR today. Or visit owning.com.
NMLS 2611, subject to credit approval. Savings may vary. Call 833-303-2169 for licensing and qualifying terms and conditions. Equal housing lender, not licensed in all states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
This is the CarPro, Jerry Reynolds, host of the CarPro USA radio show. Volvo's introducing the new S60 Black Edition, developed specifically for the U.S. market. Volvo says it will produce fewer than 450 of the limited edition 2022 models. Features include exclusive high-gloss black accents, wheels, and badging. The Black Edition is available on the plug-in hybrid Recharge as well as the mild hybrid Momentum and R-Design trims. It arrives this spring.
The CarPro Auto News is brought to you by Connell Chevrolet.
For a one-of-a-kind auto experience, make sure to visit my friends at CarPro Certified Connell Chevrolet in Costa Mesa. Family-owned and proudly serving drivers in nearby Irvine, General Sales Manager Mark Renaro will be sure to create a customized experience in a hassle-free environment just for you. If you're looking for a newer used Chevrolet dealership that will treat you like family, you're looking for Connell Chevrolet. Located at 2828 Harbor Boulevard in Costa Mesa and online at ConnellChevrolet.com. Chevrolet, find new roads.
As the experts in transmissions for over 50 years, there's nothing at AMCO we haven't heard.
So when I hit the gas, it's just a belt.
And nothing we can't fix.
It's going, what's that?
From transmissions to brakes and everything in between. No credit? Finance your repair at AMCO.
Exclusions apply, may not be combined with any other offer. Limited time offer at participating centers only.
People who know go to AMCO. AA MCO.
It's time to take your career to the next level. It's time to finish your college degree. And at Mount St. Mary's University, you can earn your degree on your schedule. Take classes on weekends, evenings, or online, plus get credit for your work experience. And when you apply to Mount St. Mary's weekend, evening, and online college, your first class is free. Earn your degree your way at Mount St. Mary's University. Go to msmu.edu/radio or text radio to 58052 to start your journey.
Deadly. These stories and more in the next 15 minutes. Right now it is 12:15. Let's get to your noon hour drive, your traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the fives. This update sponsored by the Department of Healthcare Services. Here again, Tom Tran.
Westbound side of the 91. Told you about this sig alert just past Imperial Highway. They've got a couple lanes blocked. It's a pretty bad delay. There were several accidents behind it as well. The slowing starts back near Weir Canyon Road. So it looks like it's improving just a little bit, but I think it's a lot of folks bailing off the freeway before you even get to the delays. You have the option of exiting off at Weir Canyon. I'm going to say take that to Esperanza or Santa Ana Canyon Road. That's going to be your KNX DuckDuckGo route you can trust. You can take either of those to Lakeview Avenue, get back out of the 91, and miss the slowing. We also have this sig alert on the 60. Well, it's on Hacienda Boulevard at the 60. It's the ramp from Hacienda Boulevard going southbound to the 60. That transition going to be shut down until about 1 o'clock because of a crash there. Not seeing any slowing on the 60. You just can't get there from Hacienda Boulevard. You can do it at Azusa Avenue, although that's kind of busy at this point, or even 7th Avenue. Or you can just exit or get back onto the freeway from the northbound side of Hacienda Boulevard and go westbound from there. Over on the southbound 605, had a crash near Valley Boulevard. Still a little bit busy, starting back near Ramona. It's going to clear up by the time you get over towards Valley. The more we learn about COVID-19, the more questions and worries we have. CalHope can help with free COVID-19 emotional support. Call 833-317-4673 or live chat at calhope.org today. Your next report's 1225. More reports more often from the CarsonToyota.com 24-hour traffic center. KNX News 97.1 FM.
The warming trend continues. In fact, the warming trend sticking around till Wednesday. Toward the end of the week, that's when things really start to cool down. The clouds return, and there could be a chance of rain as we head into Friday and possibly this weekend. That's something that we'll continue to watch, but enjoy the day. We have lots of sunshine. We're talking 80s for the beaches, 82 for LA and Orange County Metro, mid-80s for the valleys, upper 70s for the Inland Empire, mid-70s for the high deserts, low 50s for the mountains. With Southern California's most accurate and dependable forecast, I'm CBS 2 meteorologist Amber Lee for KNX News 97.1 FM.
Some temperatures right now. Torrance 86 degrees. We sit at 84 in Burbank, 79 sunny downtown LA at the Civic Center at 1217. Just getting this breaking news. International Criminal Court prosecutor now setting up a probe into possible war crimes, or they say crimes against humanity in Ukraine. A court serves up a judgment to a Long Beach restaurant owner who refused to comply with COVID rules at the height of the COVID pandemic.
This all happened over a 25-day period. The peak of COVID last January, when COVID deaths were rising and emergency rooms were having to turn people away.
Long Beach City Prosecutor Doug Halbert tells KNX restaurant owner Dana Tanner was sentenced to diversion, meaning her case will be dismissed in a year if she pays $5,000 of restitution, does 40 hours of community service, and does not break any laws.
It does appear that this is the last chapter of the saga of the Restoration restaurant and the owner who would not follow the health orders.
Tanner told the Press Telegram she plans to follow the orders, but still feels she was treated harsher than necessary. Emily Valdez, KNX News 97.1 FM.
The State Bar of California now investigating a data breach after a website published confidential information about 260,000 cases of lawyers who've faced disciplinary hearings. Those records include case numbers, file dates, information about the types of cases involved, and the names of the lawyers and the people who filed complaints against them. But the LA Times says all of the postings have since been removed from the website. There's a pretty good chance you'll see some of your coworkers again.
More and more companies are putting out the welcome back balloons nearly 2 years after they sent office workers home as coronavirus took off. Many planned on having workers back at work back in January, but then the Omicron variant hit. Businesses know that most of their workers are vaccinated and have started resuming indoor social activities. Return to office plans appear to be real this time. Fingers crossed. Jim Crisilda, CBS News.
There's a new report that says the LAPD's bomb squad ignored important warnings by one of its own experts before accidentally triggering a massive fireworks explosion in South LA. It hurt 17 people, heavily damaged the surrounding neighborhood. Many homes and vehicles. Happened last June when bomb squad officers put too many seized fireworks into a special disposal truck, then deliberately exploded them. They'd expected the blast to be contained within that truck, but instead it completely blew the truck apart. One resident telling CBS 2 the community is very frustrated.
We're talking about something that happened in the end of June. You know, this is something that's taken so long, and we know it would never take this long if this was an affluent community. And I know there's some legal issues, but the reality is that if they wanted to fix these things, they would have been fixed a long time ago.
The new report by the department's own inspector general says a technician had warned that too many fireworks were being put into the truck. It criticizes the officers for not actually weighing the fireworks, trying to just estimate the amount instead. 12:20 now on KNX. We're to the final hour of this Monday on Wall Street. Let's get a live look at your money. Here is Tom Busby.
Yeah, and in this final hour, Chris, stocks are sharply lower. Investors a little jittery, putting their money into safer investments like treasury bonds, even gold. All that on worries about the impact of soaring oil prices and those sanctions against Russia. That has pushed Russia's currency, the ruble, to an all-time low. While on Wall Street, the Dow down 1.1% right now, 381 points. The NASDAQ, 57 points lower. That's about 0.5%. The S&P down 1%, 40 points. Oil prices closing out February higher for a third month straight at a more than 7-year high today, 95.72 a barrel. That's giving a lot of people jitters, even though the Biden administration wants to release more stockpiles. And among the country's 10 largest cities, Los Angeles tops in the nation last year for job growth with a pace of 6.9% growth, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Overall, it was Las Vegas with the nation's biggest growth rate, 8.8%. We check your money at 20 and 50 after each hour. I'm Bloomberg's Tom Busby, KNX News, 97.1 FM.
Well, with its invasion of Ukraine, Russia now facing a ban from all international soccer competition. We'll have more on that. The news continues in 90 seconds. It is 12:22.
Russia invades Ukraine.
There are reports of artillery fire in Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine, and in other areas.
The largest military action in Europe since World War II.
From aircraft and by ballistic.
What does it mean for the world at large?
They cut off Russia's largest bank that holds more than 1/3 of Russia's banking assets.
Tune in throughout the day to KNX News.
As the world watches, we've got you covered. KNX News, 97.1 FM. Depend on us.
It's time to take your career to the next level. It's time to finish your college degree. And at Mount St. Mary's University, you can earn your degree on your schedule. Take classes on weekends, evenings, or online, plus get credit for your work experience. And when you apply to Mount St. Mary's weekend, evening, and online college, your first class is free. Earn your degree your way at Mount St. Mary's University. Go to msmu.edu/radio or text radio to 58052 to start your journey.
Switch to Spectrum Mobile and get unlimited data for only $29.99 per month each when you get 2 or more lines. You could save hundreds on your mobile bill. Plus, there are no added taxes, hidden fees, and no contracts. Click to try the Spectrum Mobile Savings Calculator, and in 3 easy steps, you'll see how much you could save. Visit SpectrumMobile.com/save. Offer valid for new customers on 2 or more unlimited lines. Spectrum Internet required. Restrictions apply. Visit SpectrumMobile.com for details.
Here's today's smart money tip from Owning. Call 833-2-OWNING or go to owning.com to find out more about this amazing offer.
Have you ever kept your 30-year mortgage for more than 10 years? If you're like most people, the answer is no. Then why are you overpaying for a loan you probably won't keep? Introducing the Smart Money Loan by Owning. With an interest rate of 2.375% fixed for the first 10 years, 2.819 APR. Lock in your rate for how long you'll probably keep the loan. Lower your rate and payment and save thousands in interest.
Call 833-2-OWNING to lock in a 2.375% rate, 2.819 APR today. Or visit owning.com.
NMLS 2611, subject to credit approval. Savings may vary. Call 833-303-2169 for licensing and qualifying terms and conditions. Equal housing lender, not licensed in all states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
That's 833-2-OWNING or owning.com.
Got a new crash to tell you about. This is affecting your noon hour drive southbound 5 East Los Angeles. Tom has more on that. He's standing by in the traffic center. We'll get to him in just about 90 seconds. But first, the national soccer team from Russia has now been banned from playing for a place in the World Cup. And all club teams from Russia are also banned from international competition. LA Times soccer writer Kevin Baxter tells KNX this follows a wave of support for Ukraine across Europe and the world, including at a top club game in Portugal.
They had a Ukrainian player who wasn't a starter. He came off the bench, and as he prepared to come off the bench, the captain took himself out of the game so that he could give the captain's armband to this Ukrainian player. Everyone in the stadium stood up. They waved signs with Ukrainian flags on them. The player broke down in tears on the field during the game. It was really amazing to see.
He says the hand of the international soccer federations was really forced by national and club teams simply refusing to compete against Russian teams.
Players and teams would rather not go to these big championships if they had to play a Russian team. And we're not talking about going to Russia. We're talking about playing Russia anywhere at any time. And this ban will hold until hostilities cease.
It should be noted this total ban of Russia replaces an earlier move to still allow Russia to compete, but not under its own flag or name. An irate Ukrainian sailor tries to impose his own personal sanctions.
The unnamed 55-year-old mechanic tried to sink his Russian boss's $6 million yacht off the Mediterranean island of Majorca. He did it because, he claims, the mogul sells weapons to Vladimir Putin that are now being used to kill and maim his countrymen in Ukraine. He was arrested, then released, and has told police, "I don't regret anything I've done, and I'd do it again." Vicki Barker, CBS News, London.
Well, it's our breaking news at this hour. Word that the International Criminal Court is set to open a probe into possible war crimes or crimes against humanity in Ukraine. We have much more of our in-depth team coverage coming up at the bottom of the hour at 12:30. Right now it is 12:25. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the fives. This update sponsored by Richardson's RV. Here again, Tom Tran.
We've got the SIG alert still in place on the westbound side of the 91. This was a crash that was blocking several lanes over near Lakeview Avenue. They had that in effect till about 12:20. They're hoping to get the number 1 lane reopened. The fast track lane was shut down. They reopened the number 2 lane, but it looks like traffic's still backed up from about Weir Canyon. It's going to stay slow at this point over towards Lakeview Avenue. The eastbound side of the 91 also busy through Anaheim from Euclid over towards State College Boulevard. Over on the 5, got a new crash being reported southbound 5 just before the 60. That is keeping things busy on the Golden State Freeway. Slowing starts way back near Los Feliz Boulevard. It's going to stay jammed up right down into East LA. We also had an earlier problem over on the westbound side of the 210, still slow through Pasadena from Sierra Madre over towards Lake. A convoy of brand new recreational vehicles has arrived at Richardson's RV. Now they've got the famous brand RV you've been waiting for in stock and ready to roll. Save thousands now at Richardson's RV in Riverside, Temecula, Menifee, and Colton, or at richardsonsrv.com. Your next report's 12:35. More reports more often from the CarsonToyota.com 24-hour traffic center. KNX News 97.1 FM.
Check now our Southern California weather forecast. Sunshine in the order of the day. Windy. We do have this wind advisory in effect until 3 p.m. this afternoon. We're talking winds in the 20 to 30 mile per hour range, gusts up to 45 miles per hour. So, of course, if you're in a high-sided vehicle, as we always tell you, be careful when you're driving. Highs today in the 80s. It's warm out there. Lower 80s at the coast, mid-80s for inland areas, mid-80s in the valleys as well. Clear skies tonight, 40s and 50s your lows, and then more sunshine, more 70s and 80s on the way tomorrow. Right now, sunny 79 downtown Los Angeles. There are mounting charges of war crimes violations by the Russian military in Ukraine, and the United States announcing it'll expel 12 Russian diplomats at the United Nations for undiplomatic activities. More in 3 minutes.
Small businesses who switch to Spectrum Business can cut their internet and phone bill in half.
Spectrum Business can cut my bill in half. Really?
It's true. You're overpaying and we can prove it. Grab your bill and visit spectrum.com/business calculator. In just 3 easy steps, you'll see your savings.
Wow. I can save over $1,500 a year.
That's real savings. See for yourself. Visit spectrum.com/business calculator and make the switch today. Restrictions apply.
Here's today's smart money tip from Owning. Call 833-2-OWNING or go to owning.com to find out more about this amazing offer.
The average 30-year mortgage stays on the lender's books around 8 years before it's paid off. So why do people take a 30-year loan rather than a 10 or 15? Lower monthly payments, of course. However, those lower payments come with a much higher interest rate. What if you can have the low interest rate of a 10-year loan with the low payment of a 30-year? Sounds smart, right? Introducing the Smart Money Loan from Owning with a 2.375% rate, 2.819 APR, fixed for the first 10 years. You can lower your rate and payment and save thousands in interest.
Call 833-2-OWNING to log in a 2.375% rate, 2.819 APR today. Or visit owning.com.
NMLS 2611, subject to credit approval. Savings may vary. Call 833-303-2169 for licensing and qualifying terms and conditions. Equal housing lender, not licensed in all states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Auto insurance rates start as low as 99 cents a day and launch your policy within minutes. Freeway Insurance understands that everybody wants to save, and sometimes they need to do it fast. Freeway Insurance has the best prices, the best options, and can get you insured in minutes. The Freeway team can help you save time and money with a fast, free quote made to fit your budget. For great auto insurance at an affordable price, Freeway Insurance is the answer. Visit freewayinsurance.com or tap the link below. Freeway, driving savings. Some restrictions and fees may apply. Quoted price for liability premium only.
Hamilton is back in Hollywood. Get tickets today for the Tony, Olivia, Grammy, and Pulitzer Prize-winning musical. It's the story of America then, told by America now. This is for all of us. Hamilton, in LA at the Hollywood Pantages Theater. Last 3 weeks.
This is KNX News 97.1 FM. We are Southern California's only 24-hour local news and traffic station. Good afternoon. I'm Chris Sedens. The International Criminal Court now says it will open a probe into possible war crimes or crimes against humanity in Ukraine. Meanwhile, the U.S. now says it is set to expel 12 Russian diplomats from the United Nations. In-depth team coverage continues at 12:31.
CBS News special report. Ukraine says Russian artillery bombarded residential districts of Ukraine's second-largest city, Kharkiv, killing possibly dozens of people. Talks on a ceasefire ended without a breakthrough. CBS's Mary Ilushina is in Moscow.
Russian delegation said one important thing, that there might be some progress reached in the next 2 days. They said there's going to be another meeting with the Ukrainian delegation soon.
Pentagon spokesman John Kirby on where the U.S. believes Russia is in its fighting at this point.
We think that they're a few days behind where they expected to be writ large in the country. I mean, I know we're focused on Kyiv now, but we think they're a few days behind where they expected to be at this point.
The United Nations has just expelled 12 Russian diplomats. UN General Assembly President Abdullah Shahid opening an emergency meeting today.
The violence must stop. Humanitarian law and international humanitarian law must be respected.
CBS News special report. I'm Matt Piper.
It's at 12:32 now on KNX as we continue our in-depth team coverage at this hour. Russia is using an enormously lethal weapon against Ukraine. Numerous countries have banned it.
Human rights groups are accusing Russia of using so-called cluster munitions banned by over 100 countries, and their use could qualify as a war crime.
Let me explain. It's a rocket that goes overhead, releases a bunch of small bomblets, close to 100 of them, and they land like hand grenades to execute civilian casualties.
That's retired Army Lieutenant General Mark Hurtley confirming the weapons seen on video on CNN.
Not only does it land and explode, but in some cases, those rounds don't explode. So they litter the battlefield and become somewhat like landmines for children to pick up.
And on the use of these weapons, Amnesty International on record saying cluster bombs struck a Ukrainian preschool last week. Among the dead, a child. Craig Figner, KNX News, 97.1 FM.
Vladimir Putin is finding it much more difficult than he'd thought in trying to overthrow the people of Ukraine.
The Russian president underestimated the will of the people to defend their homeland and their freedom. Leonard Lira is a former Army colonel, now a political analyst at San Jose State.
The Ukrainians have had the taste of freedom and democracy for 30 years. They will hold out as long as they have breath in their lungs. They are. I saw one sign posted on social media that said, if the Russians stop fighting, they just go home and the war stops. If Ukrainians stop fighting, Ukraine doesn't exist anymore. They will continue to fight until the last person.
Which raises the question, is Putin's intention to make this a war of the last person? Dick Hilton, KNX News, 97.1 FM.
Remember to keep it tuned here to KNX for the very latest developments in the crisis in Ukraine and how it impacts your world. More information as well anytime on our website, knxnews.com. It's 12:34, your freeway check with Tom, just about a minute away. First, the governors of California, Oregon, and Washington announcing today that school-aged children will no longer be required to wear masks beginning March 12th in class on campuses. This new guidance will make face coverings a recommendation instead of a mandate. However, it will not prevent local school districts from continuing to take measures to protect students.
It's been a contentious issue for months and really nasty at times. Some people believe the face masks interfere with kids' ability to socialize and to secure a good education. But epidemiologist Dr. Andrew Neumer of UC Irvine believes it's simply too soon to roll back the mask mandate and just go with a strong recommendation instead.
It's inevitable that we're going to head towards a strong recommendation instead of a requirement at some point. But I think it's premature. I think it's a little too early. There are still too many COVID cases in California for my taste to do that.
A recent UC Berkeley LA Times poll shows that 61% of California voters are still in favor of a mask mandate in K-12 schools. John Baird, KNX News 97.1 FM.
Also in California, starting March 1st, masks will no longer be required for unvaccinated individuals, but will be strongly recommended for all people in most indoor settings. Well, coming up, extremely high stakes for President Biden in his first State of the Union address. Coming up tomorrow night, we'll have a preview coming up right after traffic in 2 minutes. 12:35, let's get to your noon hour drive, your traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 5s. Tom Tran.
Southbound side of the 5 at the 60. We've got this crash I was telling you about through East LA. The backup starts just about the 110. It's going to stay busy into East LA. You can get around the slowing if you use the 10 over to the 710. Take that southbound. We also have reports of a pursuit. We're getting some details from CHP about this right now, but it is LA Sheriff's Department actually in pursuit of a possible shooting suspect down in the Orange County area. We're going to continue keeping an eye on this situation, but it looks like they're along Adams Boulevard down in the Costa Mesa area. We're going to keep an eye on this, but a dangerous situation as this vehicle is weaving through and around traffic, just blowing through lights right now. Over on the westbound 91, earlier Siglard has been canceled. Traffic is recovering, but it's still busy through Anaheim Hills, starting back near Weir Canyon. Your next reports, 12:45. More reports more often from the CarsonToyota.com 24-hour traffic center. KNX News 97.1 FM.
Sunshine, windy, warm today. We do have this wind advisory up for a few more hours, set to expire at 3 this afternoon. Winds in the 20 to 30 mile per hour range. Could see gusts up to 45 miles per hour. Highs today, lower 80s along the coast. We're looking at mid 80s for inland and valley areas. Clear skies tonight with overnight lows 40s and 50s, and then sunshine tomorrow 70s and 80s. Your forecast highs again. Some temperatures right now. We sit at 82 in Hawthorne, 81 Chino, 79 sunny downtown LA at 12:37. Ukraine has changed the focus of President Biden's first State of the Union address set for tomorrow evening.
You'll no doubt see it in the audience and hear it in the tone of the speech toward democracy and foreign policy.
People may dress, in kind of the colors of, Ukraine. To show, solidarity.
Aaron Call co-wrote the book, The State of the Union Is, Memorable Addresses of the Last 60 Years. He says Ukraine helps take the focus off some of the domestic issues that have been troubling the administration.
There's still a lot of problems that are kind of plaguing the country and specifically the economy. Inflation is at its highest level in 40 years.
Crime and COVID restrictions have also been hurting approval ratings. But Call says the visual on screen and put out through social media will likely be the colors of blue and yellow in support of Ukraine, and mostly unmasked audience present for the speech to indicate that COVID is largely behind us. Will Biden win the speech wars, as Call puts it, in terms of eloquence and power? Probably not, but Call says Biden has a way of surprising people. Vicki Moore, KNX News, 97.1 FM.
President Biden's Supreme Court pick, that is Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, due to start meeting with senators this week. Delaware Democratic Senator Chris Coons, a member of the Judicial Committee, says he hopes the nominee will get bipartisan support.
My hope is that we will have a confirmation process that is fair, that is swift, that is transparent, and that we'll see her seated on the Supreme Court later this spring. My hope is we'll have a confirmation vote before Easter.
Mr. Biden's historic pick of a black woman for the high court is in keeping with a promise he made while campaigning for the presidency in the 2020 election. Don't forget, KNX News will have live coverage, special coverage of the President's State of the Union address tomorrow starting at 5:45 p.m. on KNX News 97.1 FM, knxnews.com, and streaming, of course, on Odyssey. New report by the UN's panel on climate change says global warming is leaving 40% of the world's population highly vulnerable to natural disasters.
Scientists warn we need to take unprecedented steps to more quickly adapt to climate change because our current infrastructure, including our power grids, is simply not resilient enough. There are also big concerns about coastal areas due to rising sea levels. John Kerry, the Biden administration's special envoy for climate, says further climate change denial or delay is a recipe for disaster. Of course, if we do reduce planet-warming emissions, we can avoid some of the worst impacts of climate change. Ben Tracy, CBS News, Washington.
So breaking news right now. It's on the roads in Orange County. A sheriff's department, LA County Sheriff's Department, actually in pursuit of the shooting suspect in Orange County, Costa Mesa area. Last report was in the Adams Boulevard area. Very dangerous situation with the vehicle weaving through and around traffic. This must be the Orange County Sheriff's Department that's involved in this right now. Well, actually, I'm getting word it's the LA Sheriff's Department. Tom Tran with us in the traffic center. Tom, what can you tell us?
Yeah, we are keeping an eye on this pursuit that happened. It started about 12:20. We're hearing that it's a possible carjacking and a possible car-to-car shooting suspect that's being pursued right now down in Orange County. Started with LA Sheriff's Department. This vehicle, it's a dark gray sedan weaving in and out of traffic. It was on Fairview Drive just moments ago. Jumped on the 55. Now kind of stuck in traffic, but very dangerous. It was just going through red lights. Nearly got T-boned a couple of times. It looks like Sheriff's Department had to pull off the pursuit for a moment because it was just getting too dangerous, and now into a kind of business/residential area down in Orange County, Newport Boulevard, near the 55 at this point, or it's on the 55 right now. And there's Sheriff's Department, police, and helicopters overhead right now. But again, this was a possible carjacking and a possible car-to-car shooting suspect that's being pursued in Orange County. Chris, back to you.
Okay, Tom, thank you. Tom will develop the rest of the day's events going on our roadways right now. He's standing by with a full traffic report coming up in less than 4 minutes. Stay with us. The news continues. It is 12:41.
Small businesses who switch to Spectrum Business can cut their internet and phone bill in half.
Spectrum Business can cut my bill in half. Really?
It's true. You're overpaying and we can prove it. Grab your bill and visit spectrum.com/business calculator. In just 3 easy steps, you'll see your savings.
Wow. I can save over $1,500 a year.
That's real savings. See for yourself. Visit spectrum.com/business calculator and make the switch today. Restrictions apply.
Here's today's smart money tip from Owning. Call 833-2-OWNING or go to owning.com to find out more about this amazing offer.
The average 30-year mortgage stays on the lender's books around 8 years before it's paid off. So why do people take a 30-year loan rather than a 10 or 15? Lower monthly payments, of course. However, those lower payments come with a much higher interest rate. What if you can have the low interest rate of a 10-year loan with the low payment of a 30-year? Sounds smart, right? Introducing the Smart Money Loan from Owning with a 2.375% rate, 2.819 APR, fixed for the first 10 years. You can lower your rate and payment and save thousands in interest.
Call 833-2-OWNING to log in a 2.375% rate, 2.819 APR today. Or visit owning.com.
NMLS 2611, subject to credit approval. Savings may vary. Call 833-303-2169 for licensing and qualifying terms and conditions. Equal housing lender, not licensed in all states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Every business owner asks themselves this question: how can I make my business more productive? At Ford Pro, we're purposely built to help answer this by offering ways to help electrify your fleet, bundle your billing, and streamline the whole thing. Introducing a productivity accelerator for your business. Visit FordPro.com.
Hi, I'm Trista Crick from BetQL.
Trista Crick from BetMGM tonight on BetQL.
Wagertainment. It's finding the things that get people who don't care about betting into caring about betting. Whether that's a sexual innuendo or Tony Stark being actually a supervillain, that is wagertainment.
All the insight you need to bet smarter is at BetQL.com. And listen to BetMGM tonight with Ryan Horvath, Quentin Mayo, and Trista Crick. Streaming weekdays from 7 to 11 p.m. Eastern on Odyssey.
Introducing the new Remy Martin limited edition VSOP mixtape bottle.
celebrating the timeless vibrance of its cognac and the excellence of mixtape music culture in the 1980s. In honor of the release, 3 playlists have been curated by a collective of DJs highlighting hip-hop's beginnings in New York, Chicago, and LA. Listen now at RemyMartin.com. Remy Martin, team up for excellence. Remy Martin Cognac, 40% alcohol by volume, imported by Remy Control USA. New York, New York. Please drink responsibly.
There are all kinds of smart speakers and connected devices.
No matter what device you have, Odyssey has something you'll love.
Blast your favorite music on home entertainment devices like Roku, Chromecast, Sonos, and more.
Just look for the Odyssey app.
Want to access more stations through your car?
Try out Odyssey with Waze or Apple CarPlay. Plus, listen to your favorite stations on your phone with the Odyssey app.
Listen to Odyssey anytime on all your smart speakers and connected devices.
Odyssey.
From Glendale to Santa Ana, from downtown to Irvine, the news has never been clearer.
Southern California's only 24-hour local news and traffic station is now on FM.
KNX News, 97.1 FM.
Depend on us.
Good afternoon. I'm Chris Seaton's. Coming up on KNX News 97.1 FM. The effects of Russia's war against Ukraine being felt at gasoline pumps around the world.
I'm Bloomberg's Tom Busby. A pullback today for stocks as a wave of sanctions against Russia spooks investors. Your money at $12.50.
And California dropping its mask mandate in schools, but will local school districts follow suit? These stories and more in the next 15 minutes. Right now it is 12:45. Let's get to your noon hour drive, your traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the fives. This update sponsored by BioNTech and Pfizer. Here again, Tom Tran.
All right, keeping an eye on this dangerous police pursuit down in Orange County, currently on Harbor Boulevard in Costa Mesa. This is a dark gray 4-door sedan that just pulled into a shopping center, now doing a U-turn. Just went over a curb into oncoming traffic on Harbor Boulevard at Hamilton, now crossing over to the correct lane of traffic, but still moving dangerously fast through Costa Mesa. This was a suspected carjacking / possible car-to-car shooting situation. Sheriff's Department are saying the person being pursued is armed and dangerous, but just doing circles in the Orange County area. Was on Victoria for a little while, the 55, now on Harbor Boulevard, Fairview Avenue, just making circles in Costa Mesa. Typically, it's believed that some of these carjacking suspects or pursuit suspects are trying to travel around areas that are familiar to them. So that seems to be the situation, but a very dangerous situation now, turning onto 19th Street near Harbor Boulevard and now turning into a shopping center, trying to lose police. They kind of pulled off for a couple of minutes because this was a dangerously erratic driver, but now looks like they are turning back onto, again, oncoming traffic on a Harbor Boulevard, pulled right between 3 police vehicles who are now facing the wrong direction. So obviously they kind of know where they're going, spun around, now evaded police again, but again on Harbor Boulevard. Looks like they are going south down in Costa Mesa, but a dangerous situation. You're going to see this pursuit continuing. We will keep an eye on this, but be aware of this down in the Orange County area. Westbound side of the 10 at La Brea, we've got a crash involving 2 vehicles trying to clear off to the shoulder. The westbound side of the 210 at Grand, we also have an accident there that's trying to clear out of the way. Westbound side of the 10 San Bernardino freeway, still busy through Ontario. You can use the KNX DuckDuckGo route. You can trust to get around the slowing 4th Street. Works just fine over towards Euclid. Come rain or shine, high winds or mild breezes, blue skies are gray. It's a great time to consider getting vaccinated against COVID-19. Your next report, 12:55. More reports more often from the CarsonToyota.com 24-hour traffic center. KNX News 97.1.
Tom, stay with me for a moment. It appears he came to a dead end. It looked like it was a cul-de-sac. The suspect in this car chase is now out of the vehicle and running, just hopped over a fence and is running now from police. This is a very fluid situation. Again, this person driving very, very erratically. He is now running on through some yards, and it looks like he's running behind a building right now. Let's see. Well, we're going to stay on top of this. So far, police have not collared him, but again, the suspect is out of the vehicle after traveling at times into oncoming traffic to try and avoid police. Hopefully, we'll have an end to this very soon. Quick check of our weather.
This weekend was really nice, and now the warm-up continues. We are talking the return of 80-degree weather for the beaches, low 80s for LA and Orange County Metro, mid-80s for the valleys, upper 70s for the Inland Empire, mid-70s for the high deserts, low 50s for the mountains. We have these gusty Santa Ana winds, so wind advisories continue until tomorrow. Our warming trend will stick around through the middle of the week, and then we're expecting cooler, possibly some unsettled weather as we get toward this upcoming weekend. So it's still a few days away, and we'll continue to watch what happens and whether or not any of this stuff holds together, but enjoy the sunshine. With Southern California's most accurate and dependable forecast, I'm CBS 2 meteorologist Amber Lee for KNX News 97.1 FM.
Okay, the gentleman who's been, the suspect who's been chased by police, just hopped into a red car that was sitting parked on the side of what appears to be the side of a parking garage. He got into that vehicle, quickly exited the vehicle, and we should point out, Karen Adams just pointed out to me that he's carrying a gun. He is now hands in the air. Okay, he's outside the red vehicle now, hands in the air, and it appears now the police will have him taken into custody momentarily. He again tried to hop into another vehicle, got out of that vehicle, possibly no car keys inside it, and now has his hands in the air and is giving up to police. So it looks like the situation, which has happened in only the last 20 minutes or so, has now come, well, maybe about a half hour, has now finally come to an end. It is 12:50 on KNX. We're into the final minutes now of the trading day on Wall Street. Let's get a live look at your money. Here is Tom Busby.
Well, yeah, Kristen, it looks like Wall Street will end the month of February with some pretty good losses. A lot of worries about those sanctions against Russia by all kinds of countries and rising oil prices, how it might affect the global economy. Stocks are moving a little higher right now, but still the Dow is down 224 points. That's about 2/3%. The NASDAQ just moved into positive territory. It's up 8 points. The S&P is down 22. Shell and BP both pulling out of partnerships in Russia, but not ExxonMobil, has not yet disclosed plans for a 30% stake in an offshore deal with Russia. Shares of the electric pickup truck maker Lordstown Motors, boy, they're the big decliner, down 21% right now after an underwhelming forecast for deliveries this year. Rival Tesla, meantime, up almost 7% right now. And Neil Diamond, the latest musical superstar, selling his entire song catalog and all his recordings to Universal Music Group. No terms disclosed, though. We check your money at 20 and 50 after each hour. I'm Bloomberg's Tom Busby, KNX News 97.1 FM.
So again, this police pursuit has now come to an end in Costa Mesa. The suspect, who was armed, jumped out of his vehicle when he came to a dead end, then was running for a while, eventually saw a red vehicle parked on the side of a road in front of a parking garage, tried to hijack that vehicle, held the driver of that vehicle at gunpoint. The driver got out. He tried to get in, but soon after that, he hopped out of that vehicle and then surrendered to police. And at this point now, police have that vehicle. They're behind it, and the suspect now is on the ground and being taken into custody by police. So this is now over. Complete check of our Southern California freeways. Tom standing by in the traffic center. We'll get to that in just about 3 minutes. It is 12:52.
No one really needs opinions, but details.
This guy was yelling at a group of children walking home from
Facts
school.
Everyone needs.
From the attorney, well, he was accused of cheating his clients.
And that's what you get from KNX News.
The plan announced by Governor Gavin Newsom and top state.
Everything you need, every time you listen.
Hopeful that the city is turning a corner now.
KNX News 97.1 FM.
Depend on us.
Switch to Spectrum Mobile and get unlimited data for only $29.99 per month each when you get 2 or more lines. You could save hundreds on your mobile bill. Plus, there are no added taxes, hidden fees, and no contracts. Click to try the Spectrum Mobile Savings Calculator, and in 3 easy steps, you'll see how much you could save. Visit spectrummobile.com/save. Offer valid for new customers on 2 or more unlimited lines. Spectrum Internet required. Restrictions apply. Visit spectrummobile.com for details.
Here's today's smart money tip from Owning. Call 833-2-OWNING or go to owning.com to find out more about this amazing offer.
Have you ever kept your 30-year mortgage for more than 10 years? If you're like most people, the answer is no. Then why are you overpaying for a loan you probably won't keep? Introducing the Smart Money Loan by Owning. With an interest rate of 2.375% fixed for the first 10 years, 2.819 APR. Lock in your rate for how long you'll probably keep the loan. Lower your rate and payment and save thousands in interest.
Call 833-2-OWNING to lock in a 2.375% rate, 2.819 APR today. Or visit owning.com.
NMLS 2611, subject to credit approval. Savings may vary. Call 833-303-2169 for licensing and qualifying terms and conditions. Equal housing lender, not licensed in all states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
That's 833-2-OWNING or owning.com.
At TGI Fridays, we're having a blast with the past. Come celebrate Friday's fan favorites.